Okay, so good morning all. We are discussing about the recording techniques of the which are used in the method study, and we have started with the first type, that is charts. So in the previous lecture we have discussed about the flow process chart. What is the use of that particular flow process charts? Whatever the limitations are there for the operation process charts, how that particular limitations are eliminated through this flow process charts, or we can say that this flow process chart is the extension of the operation process chart, and it is furtherly divided into the main three types, that is man type, material type, and the equipment types. So the man type means, so whatever the movements, whatever the activities are taking place by that particular man during the operation, only activities of that particular man are represented by this particular man type of a flow process chart. So yesterday we have discussed about this particular inspection of the component. Inspection means if I have to go for the job checking, so during that particular job checking, whatever the movements are taking place by that particular man or the operator, that all these movements are recorded by using this particular man type of a flow process chart. Then second is material type. Again here the task is same, that is we have to go for the inspection of the component. So during the inspection of components or during the checking of that particular job, whatever the activities or whatever the movements performed by that particular raw material or the product, all those movements are represented by using this particular material type of a flow process chart. Okay, and then third one we have discussed about the equipment type. Equipment type means, so whatever the machines, whatever the equipments we are using to convert the raw material into the finished goods, during that, what will be your sequence of operation? That means at first number, which operation will be performed, what will be the second, what will be the third. So all those operations, it can be represented by using this particular equipment type or the machine type of a flow process chart. So in case of equipment type, the movements of the man or the movements of the material, it is not represented. Only which type of operation is performed on that particular product, only that operations will be represented. So for that purpose we have taken the example, that is manufacturing of axle and the nut. So this nut and axle will be manufactured by using the single machine only. Therefore initially the nut is manufactured and after that the axle is manufactured. So for the nut manufacturing, what will be the procedure? For the nut manufacturing, what will be the procedure? And for the axle manufacturing, what will be the procedure? So in this particular procedure, only operations are represented. That is, first one will be facing, then threading, then champering. But in between some of the operation, the inspection is also provided, because as per the requirement of the product or as per the requirement of the component, sometimes we have to provide some inspections also, because as per the requirement, if I will perform the 2-3 operations. After 2-3 operations, I have to go for the visual inspection. So in between some of the operations, the inspections are also provided. But rather than that inspection, whatever another symbols are there, that all the symbol represents the operations performed by the equipment or the operations performed by the machine. Then that summary also we have represented at the end of that particular chart. That means how many times, how much time is required for the operation, how much time is required for the inspection, and how it is the total time to convert the raw material into the finished goods. And then we have discussed about the two-handed process charts. Two-handed means the movements taking place by the left hand or the movement taking place by the right hand. Both the movements are represented simultaneously, because some of the products are there which we have to handle by using the left hand also and by using the right hand also. So for that purpose, whatever the example we have considered, that is nut and bolt. If I have to go for the assembly of nut and bolt, so it is not possible to do that particular assembly by using the left hand only. It is not possible to do the assembly by using the right hand only. So for that particular assembly, we have to use the left hand also and we have to use the right hand also. So the separate chart is there for the left hand and the separate chart is there for the right hand. Okay, so whatever the movements are taking place by the left hand, it is represented by this particular left chart, and whatever the movements are taking place by that particular right hand, it is represented by this right chart. So simply, if you assume the things, if I have to go for the, or if you have to go for the assembly of the nut and bolt, so what we are taking, you are taking that particular bolt in the left hand and you are taking that particular nut in the right hand. That means initially your both hands are moving towards the bolt and the nut simultaneously. Your left hand will move towards the bolt or pick up them. Your right hand will be moved towards the nut or pick up them. That means the first symbol is represented for the transportation. Then you can take that particular nut and bolt in your hand. Then nut and bolt we can keep in front of each other. For the assembly purpose, we have to fix either nut or we have to fix either the bolt. But here in this particular example, so this particular chart, what they have done, once the nut and bolts are in front of each other. So what I will do, I will keep my left hand as the stationary, means it is in holding position. At the left hand, the bolt is there and I will keep that particular bolt in the stationary position and I will take that particular nut. I will keep that particular nut on the threading of that particular bolt and I will start rotating that particular nut, maybe in clockwise or maybe in anti-clockwise direction as per the requirement. So during that particular assembly, my left hand is only in the stationary position, but my right hand is working. Once your assembly is over, so what I will do, I will give that particular total assembly to the right hand. Whatever the assembly is present, that assembly is present in the left hand. After the assembly, I will transfer that particular nut and bolt assembly to the right hand, means the work of the left hand is totally over. Now left hand is totally idle, it is totally stationary. Now whatever the assembly is present in my right hand, I will take that particular assembly from the left hand. I will put that particular assembly in one of the box and then my right hand is again completes original position. Means while doing the assembly of nut and bolt, so the movements of the left hand is also represented by the separate charts. Movements of the right hands are also represented by the separate charts. Therefore, this particular process or this particular chart is called as a two-handed process chart. So this example we have discussed in the yesterday's lecture also, whatever the activities performed by the left hand and whatever the activities performed by the right hand. So this is one sample example, assembly of nut and bolt. In so many applications, we have to use your left hand and we have to use your right hand, and accordingly, we have to track their movements. What will be the movements for the left hand and what will be the movements for the right hand, and that both movements are correlated with each other. The movements of the left hand is correlated with the right hand and the movement of the right hand is correlated with the left hand. Therefore, this particular two-handed processes chart are also used for the recording purpose. So that we have discussed in the last lecture. Now today we will discuss about the multiple activity chart. So the name itself suggests multiple activity means the two input resources are there. One is your man and another is the machine. So the single operator, he can perform the number of operations on one machine, or sometimes one operator can handle the number of machines. That means he is doing the multiple activity. Similarly, one machine can perform the number of operations. If you take the example of lathe machine, in case of a lathe machine, we can perform the pacing, we can perform the turning, we can go for the grooving, we can go for the threading, then we can go for the champering, then we can go for the drilling. So like that, so many operations can be performed by using the single machine only. Means the single machine can doing the number of operation, means he is doing the multiple activity. Also, the single operator or one operator, he is performing the number of operations on the same machine, or sometimes the single operator or one operator, he is handling more than one machine. That means he is also doing the multiple activities. At that time, whatever the multiple activities are carried out by that particular man or by that particular machine, that can be represented by using the single chart only, and that particular chart is called as a multiple activity chart. So name itself suggests that. So whatever the number of activities are performed by the operator or the man, or whatever the number of activities performed by the equipment or the machine, all those activities are represented on single chart only. That chart is called as a multiple activity chart. Okay. So in this particular multiple activity charts, it will also give the information about when the man is working and when man is idle, and when the machine is working and when the machine is idle. For example, if you take the example of CNC machine. In the CNC machine, what is our requirement? What the operator is doing? He is taking the job, he is holding that particular job in the chuck and he will start the machine. That means while holding the job, while starting the machine is stationary, means machine is total idle condition. Only operator is working. Okay. Once the machine is started, the CNC is automatically working. At that time, only machine is working and your operator is idle position. That means when your operator is working and when he is idle, similarly, when your machine is working and when your machine is idle, that working time and the idle time is also represented by using this particular multiple activity charts. Therefore, in this multiple activity charts, to show the working condition and to show the idle time, the two symbols are used. So whatever the figure is in front of you, the figure number 1 and this figure number 2. So what that particular figure number 1 is represents, that is one square is there, and in that particular square some hatching lines are there. So this is the one symbol which is used to represent the working condition. And whatever the second is there, second symbol, it represents the idle. That means a one blank rectangle is there in which the hatching lines are not provided. Means this blank rectangle, it represents the either machine is idle or either the operator is idle, and this first symbol is represents the either machine is working or that particular machine is idle. Therefore, whenever the machines are working, whenever the operators are working, or whenever that operator is idle or whenever the machine is idle, all that particular idle and working conditions are also represented by using this particular multiple activity charts. Also, this chart is useful to determine the number of machines handled by the worker. This multiple activity chart is useful to identify or to get the number of machines handled by the worker. So sometimes one machine will be handled by the one worker, no problem. But sometimes as per the requirement, the 2-3 machines are handled by the only single worker. Therefore, how much machines are handling that particular worker, that data also you will get from this particular multiple activity chart. In addition to that, in order to handle the single machine, how much operators are required? Because some of the heavy duty machines are there, that heavy duty machines are handled by the 2, 3, 4, 5 workers as per the requirement. Sometimes small machines, if you take the example of lathe can be handled by using the single operator, no problem. But whatever some heavy duty machines are there, maybe some press machines are there, maybe some big cranes are there. So like that, heavy duty machines are handled by using the more than one workers. So to handle the single machine, how many workers are required, that data also you will get from this particular multiple activity chart. Therefore, these are the two symbols which are very important. Working means one rectangle is there, and in that particular rectangle, hatching lines are there, and the second symbol is the blank rectangle is there, means either your operator is idle or either your machine is idle. Okay. Also, this particular multiple activity chart, it also helps to increase the proper utilization of man and the machine. Because sometimes what happens, unnecessary, the operators are in idle position. Unnecessarily, your machine is in idle position. So, automatically your production time goes on increasing. Therefore, whatever the unnecessary time is there in between some of the operations or whatever, some unnecessary movements are taking place, that unnecessary movements are also recorded by using this particular multiple activity charts, and from that, if you will get the data, so this much amount of idle time we are wasting for this particular operation. So through this particular chart, we can go for the proper utilization of man and the machine. Then second, it is used to reduce the idle time of the man's machine and the operator. Just now we have discussed whatever the unnecessary idle time is present between the two operations. That means, for example, if the job is holding on the component, after holding the job, if machine will start, at that time the operator is in idle position. In that particular idle condition, if we will give some another work to that particular operator, at that time your operation time will be reduced. So unnecessary, if your machine is in stationary condition, unnecessarily if your operator is in idle condition, so in that particular idle time, if we will assign some another work to that particular operator, so your working time will be reduced. So whatever the idle time is there, unnecessary idle time, it can be reduced by using the multiple activity charts. Also, this multiple activity chart is useful to combine and eliminate some of the operations. So if 2-3 operations are performed by using the same machine only, so you can perform the you can perform all those operations by using the single machine only, means we have combined that particular operation. For example, operation number 1, we are using machine number 1. Operation number 2, we are using machine number 2. Operation number 3, we are using machine number 3. That means for 3 operations, 3 machines are required. But if it is possible to perform all the 3 operations by using the single machine only, that means for combining that particular operations, this multiple activity chart is also plays very important role. Also, whatever some unnecessary operations are there, unnecessary it is obtained in that particular machine. So that unnecessary operations also we can eliminate from this by using this particular multiple activity charts. So these are the various examples. Multiple activity means, so whatever the number of activities are performed by the operator or the man, or whatever the activities are performed by the machine or the equipment, all those multiple activities are represented by using this particular multiple activity charts. Also, this chart is useful to find the working time of the man and the machine, as well as the working ideal time of the man and the machines. Also, through this particular multiple activity chart, the proper utilization of the man and machine is also taking place. Also, it is useful to reduce the ideal time. Ideal means stationary. Machine is stationary, means off position. Worker is standing at the stationary position. That means unnecessary idle time is there. That idle time is also eliminated by using this particular activity charts. Also, this chart is useful to combine the operations. 2-3 operations can be performed by using the same machines. Also, whatever the unnecessary operations are there, that unnecessary operations can be also eliminated by using this particular multiple activity charts. And now, through this particular concept, here the one example is there. Multiple activity chart. So this particular chart is called as a multiple activity chart. So what this particular chart represents, you can go through this particular proper chart, in which this is the first column, which represents the time required to that particular operator. Then in the second column, the movements of the operators are represented. You can see in the second column, one word is written, operator. Operator means whatever the activities performed by the operator, that activities are represented in this particular column. Then the time required to do that particular task is represented by the third column. Then fourth column represents the ideal condition. Whenever the operator is in ideal condition, or whenever the operator is in stationary condition, whenever the operator is in ideal condition and whenever operator is in working condition, that means working time as well as ideal time, both are represented by this particular fourth column. Then next column is for the machine. When the machine is starting and when the machine is off, that activities are also represented in this particular second last column. And the last column, it represents the time required to perform that particular operation, and last column, it represents the working condition of that particular machine. So if I will start with the first one is a 0 time is there. This is a description. This is the time required. It represents the symbol. Which type of symbol is there? Whether working symbol is there or whether idle symbol is there. The next, description of the machine. Then time required for the machine, and again the last column is the symbol. Now the first task, 0.2, load the job. Now for loading the job, who is working? Your operator is working. So how much amount of time is required? 0.2. So at that time, what is the symbol for the operator? Working. So in front of load the job, which symbol is mentioned? That is one rectangle is there, and in that particular rectangle, the hatching lines are there. Means here for loading the job, only operator is working, but at that time your machine is ideal. You can see in front of this particular symbol, which word is written? Ideal. Because during the loading of the job, it is not possible to keep that particular machine in on condition. During loading of the job, the machine is totally ideal. So this ideal is represented. Then second, 0.28. How much amount of time is required? We have to switch on the machine. So switch on the machine is also taking place by the operator. That means to make that particular machine on, again, operator has to start that particular machine. That means in that also only operator is working. Therefore, in front of that switch on, again, which symbol is there? Again, one rectangle is there, and in that particular rectangle, your hatching symbol is there. And in front of that, again, the machine is idle. Means still the machine is not started. Your operator is moving towards the start of that particular machine. Again switch on. Sometimes 2-3 buttons we have to start simultaneously. So for the first 0.28 seconds are required, or maybe 0.28 minutes are required. Then 0.36 minutes are required for starting the another switch. Maybe 2-3 switches are required to start the machine. Again, only the operator is working, so it is represented by the working symbol. But in front of that, again, your machine is stationary. Okay. The next 1.86. So what it represents? Ideal. Once the machine is started, at that time, your operator is at ideal condition. So you can see here, in front of ideal, which symbol is there? Here, nothing is represented. Any hatching line is not represented. Means your operator is in ideal condition, and in front of that machine part, you can see here, in front of that, the machine part is there. How much amount of time is required? 1.5 minutes. Maybe consider minutes. 1.5 minutes, and in front of that, you can see here, symbol is represented in the form of hatching line. Means once the operator is in ideal condition, at that time your machine is started and machine is performing their operation on that particular part, and the working of that particular machine is represented by the hatching line. Once the operation is over, your machine will get stopped. Again, you can see here. Next, 1.91 minutes are required to pick up the component. That means once your total operations are over, automatically machine will be stopped. Okay. Once the machine will be stopped, means again your machine will be moved towards the ideal condition. म्हणजे working condition मधून machine कुठे जाणार आहे परत? Ideal condition ला जाणार आहे. Then operators working will be start, pick up the parts. Means whatever the job is holded in that particular job, that job we have to remove, and for that removing that particular job, whether machine is working? No. For that purpose, the operators are required. So how much amount of time is required? 0.0, because to remove that particular job, only 0.05 minutes are required. Only we have to press that particular button, automatically job will be coming outside direction. But this activity is performed by the man only. Therefore, in front of that operator, you can see here the working symbol is represented. But at that time, your machine is totally idle. Again, keep the job in that particular tray. Once the job is removed from that particular job, we have to keep that particular job in one of the tray. Means here also the operators are required. Machine will not take that particular job and it will be keep into that particular tray. So for that particular, remove that particular job and keeping that particular job in one of the tray. Again here only the operator is working. How much amount of time is required? 0.05 minutes. Again here only the operator is working. Therefore it is represented by this particular hatching line. But in front of that machine is idle. Means while converting that particular raw material into the finished goods, if you go through this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, total 5 times, the operator has performed its activity. But if you think about this particular machine, total 4 times or total 5 times the machine is idle, but at only one time only the machine is working. So whatever the activities performed by the operator, whatever the activities performed by the machine, both activities are represented by using the single chart only. Therefore, this particular chart is called as a multiple activity chart. So, in addition to that particular working and the idle condition, in addition to that, the time required to perform that particular job is also represented. You can see at the bottom side, total 1.96 is there. That 1.96 means total 1.96 minutes are required to perform the job of the operator, and here at the right side you can see only 1.5 is there. 1.5 means 1.5 minutes are required to convert the raw material into the finished goods. And this 1.5 minutes means in that 1.5 minutes only your machine is working, remaining all minutes your machine is idle. So whatever the activities performed by the operator and whatever the task performed by the machine, both activities are represented by using the single chart only. Therefore, this chart is called as a multiple activity chart. And through this particular chart, you will get the idea at what time the operator is working, at what time operator is idle. Similarly, at what time your machine is working and at what time your machine is idle. So through this particular chart, you will get the overall picture about the working condition and the idle condition. And in that, wherever the unnecessary idle time is presented, that idle time we can eliminate. And in that particular idle time, if we will give or if we will give some additional task to that particular worker or to that particular machine, so your idle time will get reduced and proper utilization of man and machine will be taking place. And automatically, if your idle time is reduced, means your production time is also going to reduce, and automatically it will be effects on the output of that particular organization. So this is also one of the type of chart which is called as a multiple activity chart, in which the activity performed by the operator and the activity performed by the machine simultaneously. For single task, operator is also required, machine is also required, and the task performed by the operator and the machine for the single applications are represented by using this particular chart. Therefore, it is called as a multiple activity chart. Also, it shows or it will use the idea related to the working condition and related to the ideal condition of the operator and the machine. So here the separate chart is not represented for the operator movement. The separate chart is not represented for the machine movements. By using the single chart only, both the activities are represented along with working condition and along with ideal condition. So this is about the multiple activity charts. Okay. So these are the charts. So you have to keep this particular symbols in front of each other. Working means a rectangle with hatching line, and ideal means only blank rectangle is there, which is used to show the ideal condition. So these are the total near about how many charts we have discussed. That is, first one is the operation process charts, then flow process charts, then two-handed process charts, and the multiple activity charts. So the total 4 types of charts we have discussed in the first recording techniques, which is called as a charts. In the flow process charts, again the 3 subtypes are there: man type, material type, and the equipment type. But in case of a first recording techniques, that is in the charts, we have discussed about the total 4 charts: operation, flow process charts, two-handed process charts, and this will be the last one, that is the multiple activity charts. So this is one of the first and the important recording techniques which is used in the concept of method study. So if we think about all these particular charts, so through this particular all the types of charts, you will get the basic information about the proper sequence of operation, where the inspection is taking place, where your machine is ideal, where machine is your working condition, what is the movement of the man, what is the movement of the material, what is the sequence of the operations. All these such types of the information, overall picture you will get by using this particular all the types of charts. But there is one limitation to this particular charts or to all the types of charts. What will be the limitations? Whatever the long movements are taking place, or whenever any backtracking is there. Backtracking means the component is moving from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and from 4 again it is coming back to the 1. From 4 again it is coming back to the operation number 2 or machine number 2. That means whatever the backtrackings are taking place in the industries, or whatever the long movements unnecessarily, the long movements are taking place by that particular man or the material, that long movements, backtracking, it will not be recorded by using this particular all the types of charts. Only you will get the overall picture of that particular process. Overall picture in the sense you will get the sequence of operations, you will get the types of operations, you will get the movement of the operator from one location to the another location, then movement of the material from one location to the another location, when your operator is working, when your machine is working, when your operator is ideal, when your machine is ideal. So like that only you will get the overall picture. But whatever the unnecessary long movements are taking place, how much distance through this particular chart, you will not get the information about the distance from machine number 1 to machine number 2. What will be the distance traveled, whether it is 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter. If the operator is moving from one machine to the another machine, how much distance he has traveled, either 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter, 5 meter, or from machine number 2 to machine number 1, if that component is or that material is again coming back, how much distance he is traveled by the back distance. That distances, that backtracking, that long movements are not represented by using the multiple activity charts. So this is one of the limitations to the all the types of charts. So in order to avoid such types of the limitations, the next concept is developed or next recording technique is developed. That next recording technique is called as a drawing. That next recording technique is called as a drawing. So drawing is one of the next recording techniques which is used to have the proper distance traveled by the man or the proper distance traveled by that particular material. Okay, so whatever the limitations are present in the charts, all those particular limitations can be eliminated by using the second recording techniques which is called as a drawings. So chart is the first recording technique which is used in the method study. In that we have discussed about the 4 charts: operation process charts, flow process charts, two-handed process charts, and the multiple activity charts. Now we are discussing about the second recording techniques, and its name is diagrams. So what that particular diagrams represents, here also I have written, that is the flow process charts, all the types of charts. It will give the sequence of operation, but it does not clearly indicate the path of the movement. You can see through flow process charts, operation process charts, two-handed process charts, multiple activity charts, you will get the sequence and the nature of the movements, but it does not clearly shows the path of the movement, whether your component is moving in horizontal direction, or whether your component is moving in vertical direction, or whether your component is moving in inclined direction. So such types of the path cannot be represented by using all the types of charts. Only vertical lines. Operation number 1, operation number 2, then inspection, then storage, then ideal, then again operation. Only you will get the overall picture. But the clearly path, it will not be indicated by using that particular chart. Therefore, in order to avoid the such types of the conditions or whatever the backtracking is taking place, here I have represented backtracking and the unnecessary long movements. Unnecessary long movements means machine number 1 is present at one location and machine number 2 is located at maximum distance. That means unnecessarily that machine, unnecessarily that job or that material has to travel the maximum distance. Sometimes unnecessarily that operator has to travel the maximum distance from machine number 1 to the machine number 2. So such distances cannot be recorded by using that particular charts. So in order to find that particular distance from machine number 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4, so all that particular movements, all that particular distances can be recorded by using this particular diagrams. Therefore, to record that particular unnecessary movements, the representation of the working area is represented in the form of flow diagram and the string diagram. Like the charts, whatever the charts are there, that chart is divided into the further 4 types: operation process charts, flow process charts, 200 process charts and multiple activity charts. Similar to that only, this diagram is one of the second recording techniques which is used to find out the proper path of that particular man and the material, in order to identify the unnecessary long movements, in order to identify the backtracking. So that diagrams are also divided into the two types. The first one is a flow diagram and second one is a string diagram. So by using that particular flow diagram and by using that particular string diagram, we can easily identify that where the backtracking is taking place, where the unnecessary long movements are taking place, or whether your component is moving in vertical direction, horizontal direction, or inclined direction. That directions also you will get from this particular flow diagrams and the string diagram. In addition to that, these particular diagrams are also helps to design your plant layout. This particular diagrams, maybe flow diagram or maybe string diagram, it also helps while designing the layout of your organization. Because designing the layout means at the start to the end, you have to design your layout in the proper working condition or in the proper way. Means layout in the sense machine number 1, machine number 2, machine number 3, machine number 4, machine number 5, machine number 6, like that. We have to give the proper sequence of operation. After the machine number 1, at what distance machine number 2 should be provided. After the machine number 2, at what distance the machine number 3 will be provided. So means we are designing that particular layout, and during the designing of that particular layout, this flow diagram or the string diagram, it plays very, very important roles. In the charts, we have not discussed this particular concept. While designing the layout, the operation process chart plays very important role, flow process chart plays very important role. So like that statement, we have not discussed it in all the types of charts, because that charts will give only overall picture of that particular operation. But in that particular diagrams, maybe flow diagram or maybe the string diagram, both the diagrams are plays very, very important role for designing the layout of that particular organization. Then second thing, to study the traffic and the frequency of different route of the plant. Traffic, to study the traffic and the frequency. Traffic means, traffic in the sense, if one operation is performed on the machine number 1, then that material or that product is moving to the machine number 2. Again, operation is performed on the machine number 1. Again, that product is moving to the machine number 2. Again and again, that operations are performed and the component is moving in the forward direction. But once that material is moving from machine number 1 to the machine number 2, but in that particular case, if the machine number 2 is not working properly, in that case, if the machine number 2 is not working properly, at that time, that particular materials or that particular product is in holding position only. Only machine 1 is working again and again, and he is producing or he is forwarding that particular material for the machine number 2. Means there is a maximum traffic for that particular machine number 2. In such condition, how much distance we have to provide in the machine number 1 and in machine number 2, so the traffic effect will not be observed in that particular 1 or 2 or 2 and 3. Once the machine number 1 perform their operation, component is moving to the machine number 2. Once your operation on the machine number 2 will be finished, then and then only the next component should be come to the machine number 2. If machine 2 is finished its job, then and then only next component should be then. Again, machine 2 will forward that particular product to the machine number 3. Machine number 3 has to perform their operations. Once the operation is over, then and then only the next component should be reached to that particular machine. Therefore, in order to study the frequency over the different routes, how many times that component is moving from 1 to 2, 2, 3, 3 through to 4, or if any traffic is there from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, all such types of the activities, all the such types of the movements are also represented by using this particular diagrams, maybe flow diagram or the string diagram. And then third point is that identification of backtracking and obstacles during the movement. Backtracking means unnecessarily the component is moving back. From 3 again it is moving 2. From 2 again it is moving 1. So whatever the such types of the backtrackings are taking place, such types of the backtrackings are also identified by using this particular diagrams. In addition to that, these diagrams are also helpful to identify the obstacles. Obstacle means disturbances. Obstacle means disturbances. So whatever the obstacles, whatever the disturbances are observed, or whatever the obstacles are taking place, that obstacles are also identified by using this particular diagrams. So this particular backtrackings, some disturbances which are happening in that particular operations. So that backtrackings or the obstacles cannot be identified by using the all the types of charts. But that backtrackings, disturbances, obstacles, whatever happening in the operation process, all the such types of the disturbances can be identified by using this particular second recording techniques, which is called as a diagram. Maybe it is identified by using the flow diagram, or maybe it is identified by using the string diagram. Therefore, whatever the limitations we are observing in the all the types of charts, that limitations we can eliminate by using this particular second recording techniques, which is called as a diagram. Okay, so this is the important part of the movement, which is multiple direction, whether in the circular can be recorded by using this particular diagram. In addition to that, this particular second recording techniques, it also plays very important role while designing the layout in the organization. Where the machine number 1, what will be the distance between the machine number 1 and 2, where the machine number 2, where the machine number 3. So for designing that particular layout also, this particular plays very important role. In addition to that, whenever some traffic concepts are there, or some repetitive movements are there, that repetitive movements are also recorded by using this particular diagrams. Okay, so this is about the basic concepts of the diagrams, and then we will discuss about the first type of the diagram, which is called as a flow diagram. So this particular figure only you can easily understood that flow diagram. Flow diagram means the name itself suggests whenever or whatever the number of operations we are performing on that particular material, and along with that particular operation, what will be the movement of that particular material? What will be the movement of that particular material? That movements can be represented by using this particular flow diagram. If you go through this particular figure, in that some of the standard symbols are there. For example, this is the storage symbol. Then that circle represents the operation symbol. Then in that particular circle, some numbers are also represented: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So like that numbers are also represented at the center point of that particular symbol, and whatever the movement is taking place from one station to the second station, from second to third, from third to fourth, all that particular movements are represented by that particular inclined lines along with arrow. Whatever the movements are taking place from one machine to the another machine, from second to third, third to fourth, fourth to fifth, all that particular movements are represented by that particular inclined lines, or by using that particular lines along with arrow. In which direction actually your material is moving, in which direction actually the movement of the man is taking place. So this particular flow diagram will be applicable for the material also, or sometimes it is applicable for the movements of the operator also, because sometimes the number of operations or the number of machines can be handled by using the single operator only. So to handle that particular number of machines simultaneously, what will be its movement? Whether he is moving to the machine number 1 first, or whether he is moving to the machine number 2 first, or whether he is moving to the machine number 3 first. So that preferences are also represented by using this particular flow diagram. So if you go through this particular flow diagram, in which this is the first step, A, this is the first step, and what will be the symbol? That is storage. That inverted rectangle, it represents the storage, means now your material is in store. Okay, at the center one number is represented, and it is represented by the capital A, and outside this particular symbol, again one dotted rectangle is there. So this is the proper representation. This is the proper representation for the flow diagram. Now from this particular point A, your component is moving to the point B. You can see the distance between point A and point B is represented by this particular inclined line, and also arrow is also represented. That means from this direction your component is moving to this direction. Then here at point B, one circle is represented, and at the center one is represented. Means circle means here the operation is performed on that particular material. Point A means storage. Component is in store department. From this particular store, it is moving to the machine number 1, which is represented by the operation number 1. That is one circle is there along with arrow. Then from this particular point B, it is moving to the point C. Again, the arrow is represented. One line is also represented, and this second operation is represented by the 2. Again, from this particular point C, your material is moving to the point D. Again, the operation number 3 is represented by the circle. Again from point D, it is moving to E. From point E, it is moving to some another machine. Again from that, again it is moving to the another machine. That means whatever the proper movement is taking place from one machine to the second, second to third, third to fourth, or whatever the distance traveled by that particular product from one location to the another location, from second location to the third location. So all that particular distances, all that particular path of the movements, all that particular movements of the jobs can be recorded by using this particular flow diagram. Therefore, in order to indicate that particular diagrams, here some inclined lines are used along with arrow. So this particular lines, these lines are plays very important role. That line represents the proper distance traveled by that particular product from one location to the another location. In addition to that particular line, for each and every line, one arrow is also mentioned. That arrow represents in which direction your product is moving, whether it is moving from right to left, or whether it is moving from left to right, or whether it is moving in inclined direction or in inclined line. All those particular movements are represented by using that particular line and by using that particular arrow. Also, in this particular flow diagram, sometimes there may be some storage is there. Then whatever the operations we are performing, that operations are represented by using this particular circle, and in that particular circle the numbers are given. That number indicates the operation number 1, operation number 2, then operation number 3, operation number 4. Then here that one half represent means maybe some half operations are performed on that particular machine. Then after performing some of the operation, sometimes your product again it will be go to the store department. Okay, again from that particular storage, again that particular product again it can come to the machine number maybe 5th, machine number 6th. Again it is coming to the machine number 7, and again it is moving to that particular storage department. Sometimes once your product is coming to the machine number 3, he is moving to the machine number 4, and again it is coming to the machine number 3. Means the backtracking is taking place. Your product is already moving from 3 to 4, and from 4 he has to move to the machine number 5 to perform the next operation, but unnecessarily to perform one more operation, that product is again coming back to the machine number 3 from the machine number 4. That means in between 3 and 4 that backtracking is taking place. So to identify the such types of the backtrackings, this particular flow diagram or this particular diagrams plays very important role to identify the such types of the backtrackings. So in order to represent that particular backtrackings or the maximum movements of that particular material, this particular flow diagram, it plays very important role. Please mute from your side, Omkar. Okay, so this is the first type of the diagram, which is called as a flow diagram, in which the movements taking place by that particular job from one location to the another location. It can be represented by using the inclined line. Along with that particular inclined line, the arrows are also provided. Through this particular inclined line and through this particular arrows, you will get the proper movements taking place by that particular job, or same movements we can represent for that particular mans also, because operator sometimes also it is moving from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. That movements are also recorded, and through this particular diagram, if you will get some unnecessary operations, if you will get some backtrackings, if you will get some maximum distance which is to be traveled by that particular man, or that maximum distance which is to be traveled by that particular product, that maximum distance also we can identify, and afterwards we can modify that particular process, and whatever the maximum distances are there, that maximum distance we can eliminate. But in order to identify that particular maximum distance traveled by that particular job, or in order to identify some disturbances, in order to identify the backtracking of that particular product, we have to implement this particular recording technique, or we have to implement this particular flow diagram in the industry, and after implementation you will get the data, and then we can go for the modification. Direct modification, it will not be possible. In order to identify the disturbances, we have to implement such types of the techniques in the industry, and through that particular techniques we have to record the data first, and then we have to go for the analysis of data. If any disturbances are there, we can eliminate it, and then we can modify that particular process. But before modification, before analysis, we have to implement this recording techniques in the industry. After implementation only, you will get the data of the backtracking, you will get the path of the movement, you will get such types of the disturbances. So for that purpose, this recording techniques are plays very important role. So in this particular flow diagrams, we can use the different colors also. For example, if I have to show this particular storage by using the different color, we can use the different color. If I have to represent this particular B movement, I can use the different color. If I have to represent that particular C movement from B to C, that movements are also represented by using the different colors. So we can use the different types of the colors also. Through this particular colors also, you can get the proper movement from one location to the another location. So whatever the information is not possible by using the different types of the charts, such types of the information can be obtained by using this particular diagrams, and in that we have discussed about the flow diagram. For this particular flow diagram, you will get the proper path of the movement, from which direction it is moving, from this direction where it is moving, from this left whether it is moving to the right or whether it is moving in inclined. So all the such types of the movements paths can be represented by using this particular flow diagram. So this is the first type of the diagram, or the first type of the diagram, which is called as a flow diagram. Again, in that particular flow diagram, again it is having some disadvantages. That disadvantages can be eliminated in the second time, which is called as a string diagram, and that next type we will discuss in the next lecture. So with this, today we will stop here. The remaining type we will discuss in the next lecture.